welcome back to another episode of Thoughts Talk in TF2, not Trouble in Terrorist Town. I'm so sorry. Who was it that complained about? Was it Bino? I can't remember. But I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize until much later that the TTT stands for other things other than Thoughts Talk in TF2. But yeah, so I said I was going to talk a little bit about TF2 and the Highlander series I've been watching on X television, but thinking more about it, I want to talk more about TF2 again as a spectator sport. I don't know if I talked about this, but I mean, in recent times, I've gotten maybe a little bit less enthused about TF2, I suppose. I know I'll always come back to it, as I mentioned last week in the prior one. It's a game that I enjoy quite immensely, and I don't think that it will ever fade. I mean, I played like CS, Counter-Strike 1.6 for ever. Like, even when CS Source was out, I was still playing 1.6. I'm like, yeah, 1.6. I was playing that for like 5 years or something like that. And actually, it's been almost that much time for TF2. I would be super enthused if we had a TF3 come out. I mean, everybody is suspecting that I'm suspecting that when Steambox comes out, we're gonna get something like Half-Life 3 as an exclusive for that in PC. We're gonna get, with Half-Life 3, we're gonna get a new engine, which means we're gonna get new games for the new engine and all that kind of stuff, and so that would be pretty sweet. I mean, if I was running that, that's what I would do, because that would friggin' move Steamboxes like mad. You're like, oh, Half-Life 3 exclusive on Steambox? Here you go. Have all the monies. But I was watching the Highlander stuff, and I watched a couple of matches. I watched one on Barn Blitz Pro. I watched one on, what was it? On Gravel Pit. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the 5CP ones, but yeah, I watched a couple of the ones up there already on X Television, and I was not super enthused. I don't think. It wasn't exactly. I don't know. I wasn't like super excited while I was watching. I wasn't super involved when I was watching, and I wonder why that was. When I was doing that, it didn't have to do exactly with the commentary. X-Tine, as usual, he does fairly good. Sometimes he does kind of get slow. He kind of gets low energy, but that happens to everybody. It wasn't a consistent thing. But I do think that commentator energy is huge. Jasmine's been watching a lot of the League of Legends stuff, and they had the finals recently as well. And League of Legends, the commentators for that are very exciting, and they're very clever. They're really fun to watch because they're very interesting and everything. They would make really cool comparisons. They have really neat lines that they use, and it makes it very fun and entertaining to watch. The commentators were extremely good. And X-Time, I mean, he puts a lot of work into it for sure, but I think he is getting a little bit tired of the whole thing as well. And I mentioned watching LoL, League of Legends. I watched a little bit of Dota 2 as well, and I've never really got into those as a spectator esport. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. If they were going on and there was nothing else going on, then maybe I would go watch them. But or if somebody else would really want to watch it, like for the finals, we were having a board game night, and I know that Jasmine wanted to watch the finals, and another one of my friends was a big fan of League of Legends as well, so we had it on the big screen, streamed on it, and had that going on. But I wasn't really paying attention. To me, it wasn't that interesting of a sport. And if I've talked about spectator sports in general, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it, and I mentioned several things that make something good as a spectator sport, and I think it's time to revise the list a little bit as well. So, one thing that makes a good spectator sport is the ease of a spectator in understanding the game, right? If you are watching soccer, for example, sometimes soccer can be extremely boring if you don't understand the little intrinsic things that they're doing. Like, why can't the guy just pass all the way forward? Why does the guy just pass backwards so many times, right? It makes a big difference when you know that there are little tactics involved, little physical impossibilities are in the equation as well. Same thing for football, for example. If you don't understand the run, pass, kick game, then there's no. They're like, every time somebody does a run, they're like, why are they doing the run? They don't even gain any yards or anything like that. I'm like, well, the reason you do the run is to make your passes stronger, right? It's like doing a rock paper scissors game where you got to throw a couple of rocks and then they'll think you're throwing rock and you throw paper. And runs, when they break through, they are amazing. They can gain so much, whereas passes are risky because of interceptions. But you have to make the team respect the run in football before you can really go for a pass. And when they respect the run, they have to cautiously respect the run because there's always that pass, and then that makes your pass easier, it makes your run easier. It all depends on how the team splits off their defense on a particular play. And there's little mind games that makes football really interesting, and which is probably one of the reasons why they have to have so many replays, because you have to rewatch the same thing over and over again from different perspectives, focusing on different things in order to fully appreciate one particular play. There's so much going on with so many players on the field. Right. I mentioned that in the past, another thing about spectator sports is being able to follow the action. So I mentioned StarCraft being a really great spectator esport because you can see what people are doing at all times. You have full knowledge. Whereas in TF2, it's a little bit harder because you can't follow everybody. You can't get a general overview and be able to track everybody at all times. I mean, even in StarCraft 2, it's a little bit hard, but you at least have the mini-map and you can see what's going on. And the same applies to League of Legends and Dota, where there's only 5 players on each team to follow, and there's only basically 10 maximum hotspots of action. Right? I mean, there's some wards and some area control and that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, you'll see a lot of people colliding, right? There's a lot of conflict going on, and that way you reduce the hotspots available, and 10 maximum hotspots become something like I'm gonna say 6 hotspots, right? Where four each team member will face off. Even actually, if you have a support, then I guess not, right? But then there's always a jungler as well. They don't really face off either. But yeah, so you have this great knowledge stuff, and it's hard in TF2 to track that. But then with this in mind, like, I mean, I understand League of Legends a bit to a certain extent. I don't understand builds and stuff like that, but I get the general gist of it, and it's a relatively easy to follow game. But why is it that I don't find it exciting? The commentators are good, but I'm just not involved in it, and I don't think it's if you play it then you would know kind of thing, because I have tried playing the game, and although it is not a game that entirely appeals to me, I can't help but feel that even if I played the game, I would still not be that interested. I mean, I love playing TF2. I feel a rush of excitement when playing it, and I like some of the team aspects of it in competitive play as well, but currently, I don't find myself that interested in watching competitive TF2 play. It's not on under things to keep watching list. And yeah, to me, I can't quite explain why that is the case though. I don't know why it has lost that luster for me, and it may be just a burnout syndrome. It may be a couple other things, but yeah. It's an interesting thing to think about these days, and I want you guys to let me know as well. I mean, I had a whole bunch of TF2 videos come up a while back and during the DSGL, and like in the beginning it's pretty exciting, and near the end it's pretty exciting, but in the middle is where it drags out. And I used to be a pretty big hockey fan. Right, I used to watch all the hockey games, and hockey to me was one of the best spectator sports because there was a lot of action. The area was small, you don't have to follow as much, you can get a really good overview. I understand the game very much. I don't really play hockey, but I can appreciate how hard it is to skate and do certain things. I can understand why they need to change substitute players all the freaking time, just because they get tired so fast. They go and they burn their energy all in less than a minute. But when I don't really do is I don't watch hockey that much anymore. Last season, the season started in January because of, you know, NHL, blah blah blah, political crap stuff, and I thought, well, you know, maybe I wasn't really invested in hockey anymore because it started so late. Like the excitement period had already passed for me, and that's why I wasn't really watching it. But this year, hockey started again, and I'm not really excited either. And I wonder if it's because I don't really have a team to cheer for. I mean, the Canucks are they were so amazing a couple of years back, and right now they're in such a rut. It's not even funny, and that's a problem because they were President's Cup trophy winners several times, which means they get slim pickings during the draft picks and stuff like that. And now with all their good players gone and the remaining top tier players kind of floundering, it's not exciting to watch because you don't really have a team to cheer for. And I wonder if that's one of the things that make a spectator sport. And I think I've heard this before too, where people are like, well, if you don't like watching soccer or something, maybe you just need a team to cheer for. And one of the big things about soccer is having a team to cheer for. And people go friggin' nuts about their team over in the UK. They are so invested, even if their team is utter terrible crops. And yeah, they would still be so invested. And I wonder if that is the thing that I'm missing, having a team to cheer for. Recently I've been really enjoying watching fighting games, and fighting games is a game where you can easily back up a player. You can have a player that you're like, yeah, I love this player, right? Or you can have a character that you're like, yeah, that guy's playing this character, I'm gonna cheer for this guy. And in any bout, any match, you almost always would pick a side immediately. You're like, oh, is this guy who always wins versus this guy who is an underdog? Cheer for the underdog. Or is this guy who always wins except at evil? Man, I gotta cheer for the guy who never quite makes it at evil. Freaking Chris G, man. Oh, this would have been the year, but he choked so hard. Justin Wong, though, big boss pro, so good. And it's all about that. And it's like, oh man, watching Shen play Jen in Street Fighter 4, it was really cool. And I can't help but think you just need a team to cheer for. And that's something I don't have. I don't have that in hockey right now. I don't have that in TF2. I don't have that in League of Legends. I don't have that in Dota. I mean, I don't really follow the players. I don't really follow the teams. But I can't help but think that if I did, you get some kind of investment in there, and it would help you enjoy watching it more because you have somebody to cheer for, somebody to put your hopes and dreams on, kind of, so to speak, right? And I think that's the kind of the case. If you're ever approaching a new esport and you want to get into it and you can't quite, I think you need to pick a team and then follow a team. And I've been doing a little bit of Minecraft PvP stuff. In fact, I am running a Calamity tournament, and I started a whole subreddit for it. It's called r/Minecraft Fighters, and where we're doing a Calamity tournament, and I'm gonna have teams that I'm gonna cheer for, even though I'm gonna be working or hosting it and casting it, and I am gonna have teams that I personally cheer for. I got players that I personally cheer for, and there is also the RMCT, which is a race for wool type Minecraft stuff as well, and I have teams there that I cheer for. These are my close friends, obviously, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cheer for these guys. Of course, when it comes to like punishments and rules, stuff like that, I'll be harsh as heck, because especially against friends who you know they're not gonna harbor any bad feelings against you for a long time, kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have teams that I cheer for, and I think that is what is really important in spectator sport, and that is one of the things that makes a spectator sport. So to review, you have to have a game that is fairly easy to learn and understand, so that people can start getting all the what do you call it? Oh geez, I'm losing my words right now. Sorry. So people can get an understanding and appreciate how well people play. It'll be great if the spectators themselves can play it, so there's a little bit of an ease of access to the game, right? I mean, like American football, hockey, it's hard to get into because of all the equipment and stuff like that. Soccer, really easy to get into, which is probably why a lot of people are huge soccer fans as well, because all you need is a ball and something to mark your goals. Not even sometimes if you just want to kick the ball around. Basketball, similarly, is fairly easy to get into. All you need is the basketball and some hoops, or you just paint something against the wall kind of stuff. But yeah. So you need easy to understand, somewhat of an easy to access sport, easy entry, and you need to have some excitement, easy to overview, easy to follow kind of sport as well, something that people can watch from above and get a full understanding of what's going on at the time kind of thing as well. And then finally, I think you need to have a way to get people invested into teams. And for people who are commentating, for esports and stuff like that, the way you do that, I would imagine, is to start giving background information about the team. Talk about the history of the team. Get people to feel like they should know this team, like it's been around their entire lives kind of thing. So give them the history of the team. Talk about some of the players, something about interesting about the players, and personally even. I am currently also co-casting for the Yogcast Race for World tournament, and one of the teams, apparently, they have a 4-year-old girl playing on that team, and 2 of the other players are her parents. Now, that person only played 1 of the 3 matches that they played so far, but that was extremely interesting, and you can't help but immediately form an opinion about that. Your opinion would be like, oh, that's so cute, man. I'm going to cheer for the girl. I hope she does well. Even if she doesn't win, I hope she just does well, right? The other thing would be like, freaking kid, get her out of here, teach her a lesson, make her cry, whatever kind of stuff. But you have an opinion that you form about that as soon as you hear this little tidbit of information, and that gets you invested more than just, I like this game, I'm interested, I just want to see what people are doing. You're gonna start to root for people. You're almost gonna live vicariously through these people, and you have yourself in the game as a person kind of thing. And I think that's really important for a spectator sport. You know, you talk about sports players and like how much money they're making, what kind of contract they sign, whether they just had a daughter who was born today kind of thing. You know, lots of things that you can talk about the people, and lots of things you can talk about the teams as well. I mean, when was it Taipei Assassins last year for League of Legends came in, they were like the underdogs, and it's pretty freaking crazy. And this year we have China versus Korea, and China got steamrolled kind of thing. Spoilers, by the way. And for example, for the RMC tournament, which is going to happen down coming Friday on the 18th, and I highly recommend you guys watch this because this is going to be a Race for World map, and it's going to be a good match to watch, I feel. You have the returning champions who might try to win a second championship for the first time in RMCT history, or you have, and on the other side against them is team that has made it to the finals 3 times in a row but never has won. And they're like, both teams can be a favorite, both teams can be a challenger. But I mean, there is history there, and you know, you have people who are amazing at play, and I think it'll be a really good game to watch. But like the history involved, I think alone makes the match super interesting. Anyways, I think I rambled enough. I was surprised I'm actually able to fill in 19 minutes of conversation, which is, I was a little bit daunting in the beginning when I looked at this footage. I'm like, oh no! I actually had to cut out, you might have noticed that I'm missing the second round, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do the second round as well. The second round was pretty boring. It was a straight up steamroll, so I just cut that straight out of this footage. But yeah, anyways guys, that's it for this week. I will see you guys around. I will continue to try to do these TF2 videos. I might take a break next week, and we'll have to see what I come up with, but I might take a break next week on the Thoughts Talk and TF2, and we'll come back when I have interesting things to say. I think we're gonna have to put it off until I actually have things I want to say. I've been searching for topics recently, and yeah, and I don't want to force it out of when if it's not coming out. Anyways, I'll catch you guys all later. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and I will see you guys around. Ciao. Bye bye now. Take care. Have a good life.